Revealed, the amazing black homeless man who was once a racing legend. His life-changing journey. Marcus Speedy Johnson sat hunched on the curb of a bustling diner in downtown Atlanta, a world apart from the roaring engines and cheering crowds that once defined his life. At 45, the dream he chased so fiercely had transformed into a shadow, whispering tales of glory now replaced with desperate struggles. The sun dipped low in the sky, bathing the city in a golden hue, reminding him of how bright his future once burned. It felt like a final curtain, and Marcus was merely a ghost in the audience that he watched as people hurried past, their faces a blur. Until a familiar voice broke through the noise. Speedy. The elderly man with kind eyes stood there, recognition flickering in his gaze. Roderick, a longtime fan and supporter. His heart raced not just from surprise but from recollection. Roderick's voice had once lifted him high, a beacon of hope in his greatest victories. "Man, it's been years," Roderick exclaimed, clapping him on the back, sending a wave of warmth through Marcus. This small act was like a jolt of adrenaline, pulling him back to those glorious days of crossing finish lines and holding trophies aloft. It reignited a fire, if only for a moment, amidst the gray of his current reality. As the sun slipped lower, casting long shadows, Marcus allowed memories to flood over him. He thought of his father, a proud veteran, instilling such discipline and work ethic in him. His mother had only wanted him to succeed, to chase his dreams without fear. Yet somehow, misunderstandings crept in, fueled by pride and unexpressed fears. The chasm that had formed with his daughter felt insurmountable, her absence gnawing at him like a relentless pit in his stomach. Then came a glimmer amid the darkness. A local charity was bringing back the long-forgotten auto racing event, designed to support the homeless community. His heart thumped. It was as if the racing gods had thrown him a lifeline. But the whispers of doubt began to swirl like storm clouds. Had he really lost his place? Could he still compete with a world that had moved on without him? Then came the accusations. Rumors of corruption within his former racing team, swirling echoes in back alleys and bustling cafes. Marcus felt torn. Should he expose the rot, risking everything he sought to rebuild? Or slip quietly back into the shadows, the streets claiming him once more? Before we continue, I need to let you know about something important that's happening. YouTube has been making changes to the system, and many people are losing notifications from channels they follow. If you're enjoying the content, hit that bell and mark all notifications so you don't miss the next videos. And if you can drop a like, it really helps me with reach. Seriously, it makes a difference. Oh, let me know in the comments where you're watching from. I'm always curious to know who's on the other side of the screen. Now let's continue. With each passing day, the tension in the community crackled like a live wire. They gathered around him, murmurs of support and whispers of worry mixing in the air. He could feel their eyes, filled with a mix of admiration and concern. Then came the sensation he hadn't dared hope for. His daughter, who he thought had forgotten him, reappeared in his life, eyes full of disappointment and longing. Could they bridge the gulf between them? As the race approached, Marcus could sense every heartbeat of the community behind him, urging him forward. Just as he gathered his strength for one last push, betrayal ripped through him like a crash on the track. Would he find the courage to confront the shadows of his past, or was he destined to face this battle alone? The question lingered palpably in the air, leaving him teetering on the edge of a decision that would change everything. Marcus felt the weight of the world resting on his shoulders as he watched the sun set, painting the city in shades of orange and purple. Roderick's presence had revived something deep within him, stirring emotions that had long been dormant. But along with hope, a storm of doubts threatened to wash it away. "Speedy, you still got that fire, don't you?" Roderick's encouraging voice pierced through his chaos. It was a simple question, but it set Marcus's heart racing. Could he really still muster that flame, the same one that had once burned so brightly on the racetrack? The looming race was more than just an event. It was an invitation, an opportunity to reclaim his past, to connect with his daughter, and maybe even to find purpose again. Yet fear gripped him tight. Every failure echoed in his mind, memories of his downfall haunting his thoughts. The whispers of those who doubted him became a chorus in his ears. That night, sleep eluded him. Shadows danced on the walls of the makeshift shelter he had come to call home. The city hummed softly outside, a comforting tune he had learned to ignore. But tonight, the sound was a reminder of all the dreams he had once chased. He needed to draw strength from somewhere. Glancing at the small photo of his daughter tucked under his worn-out pillow, Marcus felt a surge of motivation. There was a chance to show her he wasn't just a man broken by circumstances. He could rise. He had to try. When dawn broke, a new resolve coursed through him. He walked to the Charity's community center, where others gathered to talk racing. The excitement was palpable, and for the first time in a long while, he felt a spark of belonging. People shared their stories, their triumphs, and their losses. Each tale resonated with him, a reflection of the struggles they all faced. As the days passed, Marcus found himself in a rhythm. He trained not just for the race, but for the future he hoped would bloom from it. He ran laps at the local track, the gravel crunching underfoot a reminder of the grit he needed. He practiced with an old go-kart, its engine sputtering to life under his hands, igniting not just gasoline but a flicker of hope. Yet, just as things seemed to be falling into place, the accusations of corruption weighed heavily on his heart. Marcus wrestled with his conscience. Should he stay silent to protect himself, or speak out and risk everything? The screams of those who had wronged him rang in his ears, counting down the hours to the race point. One evening, he stood alone under the dim lights of the abandoned track, heart pounding as memories flashed through his mind. He remembered the laughter of his daughter and the cheers of adoring fans. One choice stood at the forefront of his mind: would he step back into the light or fade away into obscurity? Then, a familiar figure approached in the twilight. It was his daughter, her expression a mixture of determination and fear. "Dad, I want to help," she said softly, her voice trembling. His heart lifted and fell simultaneously. This was the moment he had waited for, the chance to mend what was broken. But would it be enough to confront the ghosts of his past? Hope battled turmoil within him as he took a step toward her. "Then together, let us do this." The question lingered: could they really survive the storm ahead together? The tension crackled in the air, thick enough to cut. Racing toward the truth was one thing, but what if it meant losing everything? Every heartbeat was a reminder that the real race was just beginning. How far would he go to reclaim his legacy and his daughter? The race was set, and time was running out. The morning air buzzed with a mix of uncertainty and exhilaration. Marcus stood next to his daughter at the edge of the track, the asphalt glistening under a soft sheen of dew. The aroma of gasoline hung in the air, mingling with the scent of fresh coffee from food vendors setting up nearby. He could feel the anticipation pulsing around them. This was no ordinary race. It was their chance to reclaim not just glory, but a future. "Are you ready to get behind the wheel?" Marcus asked, forcing a smile, though inside he felt like a taut wire ready to snap. His daughter met his gaze, brown eyes shining with something like determination and a hint of anxiety. "More than ever, Dad," she replied. "Let us do this." The confidence in her voice lit a fire within him, one that had been embers just the night before. As they prepared to climb into the cart, Marcus stole a glance at her. This moment was not just about fast cars and cheering crowds, it was about showing her the man he wanted to be. A father who fought for his family, no matter the odds. The crowd gathered, their chatter rising like a chorus. This was the moment. The announcer's voice boomed over the loudspeakers, calling competitors to line up. A wave of nerves hit Marcus as he entered the driver's seat, but he swallowed it down and focused on his daughter, sitting behind him. Together, they had the chance to rewrite their story. As the engines roared to life, the vibrations ran through him, resonating with every beat of his heart. He remembered the thrill of the races back in the day, the racing dreams that had slipped away but were now rushing back as if the past and present were colliding. Yet even with the excitement came a shadow of doubt. What if he failed again? What if the accusations returned, burning everything he had fought to rebuild? "Dad, just breathe," his daughter said gently, squeezing his shoulders. Remember what we talked about. It's about us. It's about you being you. That reminder anchored him. He was racing for them for their future. As the flag dropped, he shot forward, the wind biting at his face. The cart surged, and with it, a swell of adrenaline swept through him. It was like an old flame roaring to life, igniting a passion he thought had long been extinguished. They took the first turn with ease, gliding smoothly over the track. The cheers of the crowd echoed around them, a wave of encouragement that fueled his spirit. But soon enough, whispers of doubt crept in again. He spotted other drivers eyeing him suspiciously, their eyes flaring with judgment. Was this race just a reset for him, or would it become a stage for all his past mistakes? As they approached the final lap, something unexpected happened. A car bumped him from behind, jarring him out of his focus. In that split second, Marcus felt the heat of frustration boiling up inside him. He struggled not to let it consume him. He glanced at his daughter, and all he saw was trust, hope and expectation that he would rise above it. "Let it go, Dad." She yelled over the noise, reminding him of their pact to stay united against adversity. "Just drive." He took a deep breath and let the weight of the past fall away. With renewed strength, he pressed forward, maneuvering around the obstacles. His heart thundered in sync with the roar of the crowd. As they crossed the finish line, to their surprise, the cheers surrounded them like a warm embrace. They hadn't just raced, they had contended with the ghosts of yesterday and emerged unscathed. But as the reality of the moment set in, Marcus felt something looming on the horizon, an unanswered question tugging at his heart. Would victory help him confront the reasons behind the corruption? The accusations he had tried to outrun seemed to be waiting for him, ready to catch up. Standing on the podium, with his daughter's hand clasped firmly in his, the racing world felt like a new life unfolding. Yet a storm rumbled gently in the distance, reminding him that every race came with unforeseen turns. Had he truly escaped the past, or was it merely the calm before the ultimate showdown? The thought gripped him tight. What awaited them now? Would he have the courage to dig deeper and unearth the truth, no matter how painful it might be? The excitement from the race buzzed around Marcus like electricity, yet inside him, questions churned just as intensely. They won, yes, but what did that victory actually mean? The podium felt like a temporary respite from the storm that brewed within him. As the crowd began to disperse, he looked down at his daughter, whose face radiated joy. "Did you see that?" she exclaimed, her eyes dancing with excitement. "We did it, Dad. We really did it." Those words warmed his heart, pulling him momentarily from his deep thoughts. He smiled widely, fitting their victory into the emotions swirling in him. "We sure did. You were amazing out there." She beamed up at him, and in that moment, he felt invincible. They shared a hug, each of them holding on a little tighter than necessary, as if to anchor themselves against the uncertainty looming beyond the day's celebration. Their connection was stronger than any doubt that threatened to creep in. As they stepped off the podium, surrounded by teammates and family friends, Marcus tried to engage in the cheers and laughter, yet he couldn't shake the gnawing feeling in his gut. The world was clapping for them, yet he could almost hear the whispers of the past echoing in his ears. How long could they stand atop this victory before the shadows returned? What story would the headlines tell tomorrow? "Let us celebrate," a friend called out, breaking Marcus's train of thought. "Dinner on me. Count me in." His daughter shouted, her enthusiasm mixing with the crowd's jubilant noise. He knew she needed this moment, a time to revel in their triumph. As they walked through the thrumming parking lot, Marcus felt a tug on his sleeve. "Dad, can I show you something?" she asked, leading him towards a section of the crowd. Curiosity piqued, he followed her through the cheering fans from their winning team. She stopped near a cluster of people gathered around a former racer, a man with a sunken face and frayed clothes. His eyes were sharp, filled with both wisdom and untold stories. Marcus felt a pang of recognition. Something about this man felt familiar yet distant, like a shadow from a past life he tried so hard to forget. "Everyone, this is Jesse," His daughter announced. He's a racing legend. He was on TV all the time. Jesse smiled, revealing a set of missing teeth, but the warmth in his gaze didn't diminish at all. Yeah, that was a while back, he said, his voice gritty yet sincere. Seems like just yesterday I was chasing the checkered flag, but life has a funny way of changing everything. Marcus felt a quickening of his pulse. The mention of life changes sent a ripple of recognition through him. It struck him that even in their victory, shadows could quickly blur lines. What happened to you? His daughter asked innocently, as curious as Marcus felt. Jesse chuckled softly, a mixture of pride and sorrow in his laughter. Sometimes the races we lose aren't the ones on the track. They're the ones we face off it. Marcus wanted to hear more but hesitated. He had fought so hard for this moment. Would he risk getting swept up in someone else's broken dreams? Yet the connection he felt pulled at his heartstrings. Every person overcomes something, perhaps that was the point of it all. His daughter turned to him, her eyes questioning but still hopeful. Do you think we can help him, Dad? Maybe he can help us, too. The idea echoed in his mind. Could they help each other? Would reaching out be another way to face down their ghosts, his and Jesse's? Without another thought, Marcus stepped forward and extended his hand. Jesse, I'd like to listen if you'd let me. As Jesse reached out, Marcus felt the past tugging at him again, swirling with new possibilities. Would he have the courage to dive deeper into both Jesse's story and his own? What awaited at the finish line of this revelation? With his heart racing anew, he took a deep breath, knowing he was at the start of yet another crucial race. What truths lay in wait, just beyond the horizon? A warm breeze brushed against Marcus's face as he stood there, hand outstretched toward Jesse. The noise of the crowd faded into a dull hum, replaced by the thunderous beat of his own heart. He felt like he was straddling two worlds, the excitement of his recent victory and the heavy weight of history that Jesse represented. Jesse clasped Marcus's hand, his grip surprisingly strong. You've got a good heart, son. I can tell. His eyes sparkled with gratitude, illuminating the shadows that clung to him. For a moment, they held each other's gaze, and in that brief exchange, Marcus recognized a kindred spirit. Can we sit down? Marcus asked, glancing around for a quieter spot, away from the frenzy of the celebration. His daughter, sensing his unease, took a step back but kept her eyes on him, her curiosity evident. Sure thing, Jesse nodded, leading them to a nearby park bench bathed in the soft glow of the setting sun. The sounds of laughter and cheers floated away, replaced by the gentle rustling of leaves. They settled in, Jesse's presence radiating both warmth and sorrow. So, what's your story? Marcus ventured, trying to break the ice, unable to ignore the tug-of-war playing out in his mind. It would have been easy to shrug this moment off, but something about Jesse's openness pulled him in. Jesse exhaled deeply, as if hauling years of burdens wrapped in that breath. I had my time in the spotlight. Raced for years, life was good. The thrill the fans it felt invincible, he began, a smile creeping onto his lips, only to be shadowed by grief. But life can take a wrong turn. One bad decision, and everything crumbles. Injuries, debts, it all spiraled. One day, I woke up and found myself on the streets. Marcus felt the weight of those words settle around them. It could have been him. It could have been anyone. He swallowed hard, glancing at his daughter, who was listening intently, her little hands clasping her knees. Jesse, Marcus said slowly, searching for the right words. How do you keep going? How do you find hope after everything? Jesse leaned back, a deep crease forming on his brow. Hope. That's a tricky one. It's there, buried deep sometimes, but you gotta look for it, you know. I find it in moments. The kindness of strangers sharing stories like this one. He gestured towards the vibrant horizon, where the sun kissed the sky goodbye. The day is not just about winning, it's about living. Every single day. Marcus nodded, feeling a flicker of understanding. There was a strength, an undercurrent of resilience that pulsed from this former racer despite his hardships. Could he harness that kind of strength for himself and his daughter? Do you think there's a way out? He asked, his voice barely above a whisper. Jesse met his gaze, an unwavering intensity reflecting back. You gotta believe it's possible. Life's a series of races. Some days, you win. Others? You gotta find a way to get up and keep running. The depth of Jesse's words struck Marcus like a punch to the gut. He thought of his own struggles, the demons lurking in his past, the fear of falling back into darkness. The unspoken shadows that loomed ever closer, threatening to eclipse the joy he felt with his daughter. Can I be real with you? Marcus continued, leaning forward. This victory, it feels hollow sometimes. I don't want to lose it all over again. Jesse nodded knowingly. You're already ahead just by recognizing it. Don't chase the win. Chase the meaning. That's where the real victory lies. Marcus felt a new layer of clarity, shifting like sand underfoot. He looked at his daughter, who seemed to absorb every word, and realized maybe, just maybe, it was time to forge a new path, together. They could help Jesse, and in return, maybe find the answers they were searching for. Let us keep talking, Marcus said, and the moment hung between them, heavy with potential. As the sun finally slipped beneath the horizon, leaving only the twilight in its wake, Marcus felt a surge of determination. Would they embark on this journey together? The old man had begun to share something that could change everything. The echoes of the past were quieting, but they weren't gone yet. What awaited them ahead? What new races would they face, and what memories and truths would come along with them? Marcus shifted on the bench, the wood creaking beneath their weight. The world around them was alive, but in this moment, it felt like it was just the three of them: Marcus, Jesse, and the little girl who watched with wide, hopeful eyes. He could sense the possibility blooming between them, threads of connection weaving a new tapestry of understanding. Jesse, he said, gathering courage, when you were racing, what drove you? What made you push through the pain and keep going? Jesse chuckled softly, a genuine sound that rippled through the quiet. It was a rush, kid. The engines roaring, the crowd screaming your name. It was like flying, like nothing else mattered but the finish line. But it wasn't just the winning. It was the journey, the friendships I made along the way. That's what I missed the most. Marcus listened intently, the image of Jesse racing filling his mind, adrenaline pumping, the thrill of speed, and the bond created in the heat of competition. Could they find that kind of joy again, in a different way? What about now? Marcus asked quietly. Do you still feel that rush? A shadow crossed Jesse's face, but he quickly brushed it off. Not in the same way. But I find it in other things now, moments like this. Being able to share my story, to pass on some wisdom, that feels like a race worth running. The gentle breeze turned cooler as dusk deepened around them. Marcus felt a sense of urgency within him. He wanted to help Jesse as much as he wanted to understand him, to unlock the lessons Jesse had learned in his fall from grace. Can I ask you something personal? Marcus hesitated. What's your biggest regret? Jesse's eyes darkened for a split second, then he sighed deeply, as if traveling back to a moment long buried. Not taking care of my relationships. I let fame and success cloud my judgment. Friends, family, they drifted away. You think you're invincible, but it all changes so fast. I lost the people who mattered. Marcus's heart ached at the honesty in Jesse's voice. It struck a chord deep within him, making him reflect on his own relationships, especially with his daughter. Maybe we can help each other, Marcus suggested, feeling the weight of Jesse's sadness and his own longing for connection. I can teach you about the new generation of racers. And you can help me understand what it really means to live, to keep that drive alive no matter the circumstances. An unexpected smile brightened Jesse's face, illuminating the creases etched by his life experiences. Now that sounds like a plan, my friend. Just then, a group of kids rode by on bicycles, their laughter echoing through the park like music. Jesse watched them, a spark of energy lighting up his expression. "See that?" He pointed, his voice rising with excitement. "That's the real heart of racing, isn't it? The joy, the play. Even when life gets tough, there are simple moments to chase." Marcus looked at his daughter, whose smile mirrored Jesse's. A sense of hope washed over him. Perhaps they were at the beginning of this journey together, not just as saviors of one another, but as a family finding purpose. As the first stars began to punctuate the twilight sky, Marcus felt something stir within him, a blend of nervousness and excitement. They were stepping into uncharted territory, and the possibilities felt endless. "Let us make a promise," Marcus said, gripping Jesse's hand once more, solidifying this pact. "No matter what happens, we keep pushing forward, together." "Together," Jesse echoed with sincerity, but as they sat in a moment that felt like the world had paused, the shadows of their past loomed in the distance, whispering reminders of their struggles. Were they truly ready to embrace the risk of vulnerability? The question hung heavy, and Marcus knew the answer would come with time. But for now, they had each other, and the journey was just beginning. What would it take to truly heal their hearts and forge a new path together? As the park began to glow with the soft light of street lamps, the warm summer air wrapped around them like a comforting blanket. Jesse scanned the playground, where laughter echoed like a heartbeat. It reminded him of better days, days filled with joy and camaraderie. He could almost feel the rush of racing again, the thrill kicking at the back of his mind. "We start fresh tomorrow?" Marcus asked, pulling him back from memories that sometimes hurt too much to revisit. His expression was earnest, filled with hope. "Absolutely," Jesse replied, feeling the promise of a new beginning. But deep down, doubts lingered like shadows. Could he really step back into a world he had left behind? Could he still inspire someone? They stood up from the bench. The little girl skipped ahead, chasing fireflies flitting about in the growing dark. Her laughter rang like chimes in the stillness. "You should join her," Marcus encouraged, his eyes bright with enthusiasm. Jesse hesitated, his feet rooted to the ground. "Why should I? I'm not the man I used to be." Marcus stepped closer, his voice steady. "Everyone was a beginner once, including you. You just need to embrace it. Jump in." With a deep breath, Jesse joined the little girl, a tentative grin stretching across his face. As he ran beside her, chasing the flickering lights, a sense of warmth wrapped around him. The sheer joy of being part of something innocent and pure reignited an ember in his heart. He caught her laughter, a melody woven with enchantment. "You can catch one, Jesse," she squealed. He dove forward, reaching out, hoping to grasp at the glowing beings that danced just out of reach. Each time he missed, he felt a flicker of disappointment, but he marveled at the freedom in those moments. In the distance, Marcus watched quietly, the way a mentor would, but with something more of father's pride. As the night deepened, they settled together on the grass, the little girl nestled between them. "Tell us a story, Jesse," she said, her eyes sparkling like the stars above. Jesse looked at Marcus, then back at the child, a wave of nostalgia washing over him. "All right, I'll tell you about my first race. It was crazy and wild." His voice carried the weight of history, opening the door to a world pulsating with energy. He talked about the roar of engines and the smell of burning rubber, of friendships formed in the chaos of competition. Each word painted vibrant images. The girl listened, enraptured, while Marcus felt the walls around Jesse beginning to crumble, just a little. As the story unfolded, Jesse realized that sharing his past wasn't just about remembrance, it was about reclaiming it. His laughter bubbled forth as he recounted his blunders and triumphs, feeling lighter with every word, but beneath this newfound joy, a question still gnawed at him. Could he allow himself to fully embrace this new chapter? What if the old demons came back? Would he be strong enough to face them? When the story ended, an echo of silence fell among them. The little girl's eyes shone with excitement, her innocent joy untouched by the complexities of life. Jesse turned to Marcus, who looked back with warmth, as if to say, "See. You can do this." But as they shared this moment of connection, an unexpected siren pierced the night, jolting Jesse back to reality. The sound was jarring, a stark reminder that the light they were chasing might not be enough to fill the darkness looming in their lives. What would happen the next time the past called? Together, right? Jesse whispered again, his heart racing as he sought Marcus's reassurance. "Always," Marcus replied, but the night had changed, and the shadows crept closer. Would this fragile promise hold in the face of their hidden struggles? The uncertainty loomed, thick in the air. The siren faded, but Jesse's heartbeat thundered in his chest. The laughter from the little girl seemed distant, like echoes fading in a darkened room. He forced a smile, but his stomach twisted with anxiety. Marcus glanced at him, sensing the shift, the way light dims when clouds roll in. "Let's take a walk," Marcus suggested, his tone casual, but there was an edge to it, a call for action, a need to draw Jesse away from the edge that he was teetering on. Jesse stood, still feeling the warmth of the grass beneath him, but climbing out of that comfort was hard. As they strolled, they left the joyful chaos of the playground behind, stepping onto a path that wound around the park's perimeter. The moon bathed the world in silver, but Jesse couldn't shake off the shadows that lurked just outside of his vision. "Do you think I can really handle this?" he finally asked, voice low, betraying his confidence. "Listen," Marcus started, stopping to face him, "you already took a big step tonight. Not everyone can share their past like that. It took courage. Courage? Or desperation?" Jesse bit back, frustration surfacing again. "What if I fail? What if that little girl looks at me one day and sees just a shadow of what I used to be?" Marcus stepped closer, eyes fierce and steady. "What if she sees someone who is trying? Someone who is not afraid to get dirty fighting for a second chance? You can't control how others see you, but you can control how you see yourself." Jesse looked away, trying to collect his thoughts. The park had grown quieter, replaced by whispering leaves and the occasional rustle of an animal. Every sound pulled at the tendrils of his fear, amplifying it. "Let's say I try, what comes next? Will the weight of my past just keep coming back?" "Then you face it," Marcus replied, the resoluteness in his voice pouring into Jesse's heart. "You don't have to face it alone. We'll do this together. We'll face every bump in the road head-on." The idea sank in, wrapping itself around Jesse like the warm summer night. As they walked further, the air grew heavy with possibility. Yes, he was terrified, but there was something about Marcus' words that ignited a flicker of hope. "Can you promise me one thing?" Jesse asked, voice barely above a whisper. "Anything," Marcus said without hesitation. "Don't let me retreat into the shadows again," Jesse pleaded, the reality of the struggle ahead weighing on him. "I need someone who won't let me walk away when it gets too hard." Marcus smiled softly, the lines on his face deepening with warmth. "That's a promise, Jesse. But you have to promise me something too, that you'll keep moving forward, no matter how easy it is to fall back." They stopped once more, and Jesse felt the moonlight washing over him, illuminating a part of him that he didn't want to hide anymore. "Okay. I'll hold you to that," he replied, the corners of his mouth lifting despite the uncertainty still gnawing inside him. As they turned to head back towards the playground, the little girl reappeared, her sparkle undiminished by the moments that had passed. She held out a tiny jar, capturing maybe 30 fireflies within. "Look what I caught. Let's set them free." Jesse and Marcus exchanged a glance. The potential of what they could inspire shimmered before them. All it took was a little courage, a bit of faith, and the willingness to face the darkness within. As they leaned down to help her open the jar, Jesse realized he was ready to join the dance again. What if he could take her by the hand and show her what chasing dreams really meant? But with every joyous laugh, another question lingered in his mind. What would happen if the past showed up uninvited? A sudden chill swept through the air, sharp and bitter, not just the kiss of night, but a reminder that the shadows were always waiting. How would he confront them this time? As the jar popped open, the fireflies fluttered into the night, little glowing orbs weaving through the cool air. Jesse felt a rush of warmth as he watched them dance. The little girl squealed with delight, her laughter ringing bright and pure. In that moment, Jesse was reminded of what it meant to be alive, what it meant to hope. Marcus knelt beside her, eyes sparkling with the same wonder. "See? Just like that," he said, motioning toward the glowing bugs. "They found their freedom." Jesse bit his lip as the weight of those words sank deeper within him. Could he really find freedom too? Could he stretch his wings and rise above the past that seemed to cling to him like a shadow? "Thanks for helping," the little girl chirped, her cheeks still flushed with excitement. "You're like a superhero." A soft chuckle escaped Marcus. "You hear that, Jesse? Superhero." He shot Jesse a playful wink, but Jesse's heart clenched at the title. How could he be anything close to that when he felt so broken on the inside? As they stood, Jesse's gaze drifted to the horizon. The sky was dark, but the stars shone defiantly, each one a tiny beacon of hope, a reminder that even in the darkest of nights, brightness could still break through. "Maybe we all have a little superhero in us," Marcus said, breaking into Jesse's thoughts. "We just have to find our power." "Sounds easy enough," Jesse muttered, the hint of sarcasm struggling to mask the weight in his chest. "Not easy, but worth it," Marcus corrected. "Finding your power means facing your fears, embracing the mess, and believing you deserve a shot at the life you want." As Jesse reflected on this, doubt bubbled up again. He wanted to be that person who embraced life, who fought for what he believed in. But then, just as quickly, anxiety bit back. What if I mess up? What if I freak out again when it matters? Marcus placed a reassuring hand on Jesse's shoulder. "Look, you're not expected to have everything figured out now. Just take it one step at a time. You have me, you have people who care." Jesse felt the warmth of Marcus' touch seep into him, reassuring and steadying. "Thanks, man. I wish I could believe that." They turned back toward the playground, where the laughter and shouts of children rang out like music. Jesse felt a pull in his heart, the desire to step back into the joyful chaos, yet the weight of hesitancy still held him tight. The little girl ran ahead, her excitement unbroken. "Come on, let us play." She called back to them, her tiny figure spinning in delight. For a moment, Jesse hesitated. The shadow within him whispered, warning him of the potential for pain, for failure. But now, another voice, quieter yet insistent, urged him to follow. What if playing opened a door, letting light in where darkness crept? "Let us go," he said suddenly, surprising even himself with the determination in his own voice. Freedom was a choice, and Jesse was willing to take that leap. As they rejoined the thrumming joy around them, Jesse felt a flicker of possibility. Could laughter pierce through the chains of his past? Could moments of play be the balm for his aching heart? But just then, a familiar figure caught his eye, standing at the edge of the playground, shrouded in shadow. A shiver ran down his spine as the figure stepped into the light. It was someone from his past, and Jesse's breath caught. How had they found him here? Panic flashed through him. Would they pull him back? Would they prove him right about not belonging? In the vibrant chaos of laughter and life, fear crept back in, waiting to pounce. Jesse's heartbeat quickened as he faced the figure. Was he truly ready to confront the past, or was it too late? Jesse stood frozen, the joyous sound of laughter fading into the background, replaced by the pounding of his heart. The figure loomed nearer, the once familiar face now feeling like a jolt of electric fear. It was Sam, his old racing rival. Another life, another world that Jesse had tried to outrun. Each step Sam took felt like a warning. "Jesse!" Sam's voice sliced through the air with an edge of disbelief. "Is that you?" Instinctively, Jesse tensed. Memories rushed back, dark moments of rivalry, late nights fueled by anger and jealousy. The past felt suffocating, pressing down on him like a heavy blanket. Marcus moved beside him, sensing the shift in energy. You okay? His voice was calm, grounding. Jesse swallowed hard. Could he actually face this? Could he stand his ground after everything that had happened? Yeah, he managed, his voice steadying. As Sam approached, reality settled in. He had not come here to rehash old rivalries, he was someone from the past, but also an opportunity for growth. Didn't he expect to see you here, Sam said, eyes narrowing. But what is this? A charity event? I thought you fell off the map. I'm trying to find my way back, Jesse replied, surprised at his own boldness now blooming inside him. Sam laughed, but it wasn't the joyful sound it used to be. Good luck with that. It's a tough world out there, especially when you've burned bridges. Maybe I'm rebuilding them, Jesse shot back, feeling the fire growing in his chest. It surprised even him. Rebuilding? Ha! You think anyone will trust you again? Jesse recoiled, but the darkness that had threatened him began to morph into something else, a fierce determination. I'm not running away anymore, he said, his voice louder as he faced Sam. I've messed up, I know that. But I'm here for a reason. I want to help others like me. Help others? You really think you can? Sam raised an eyebrow, challenging him. Jesse looked over at Marcus, who stood there, unwavering support in his eyes. His daughter was playing, filled with hope, a reminder of what it meant to fight, to embrace life. I'm learning that it's not about winning, it's about what you learn along the way. And if I can inspire even one person, it's worth it. For a moment, silence thickened the air, and he saw a flicker of something in Sam's eyes, maybe respect, maybe disbelief. But either way, it felt like a mountain had shifted. Guess this isn't what I expected, Sam muttered. The fear inside him began to fade, replaced with clarity. He turned to see his daughter giggling, free and unencumbered. Look, I'm not here for a fight. I'm here to make amends with myself, my family, and those I let down. The atmosphere shifted slightly, as Sam's expression softened. We all make mistakes, Jesse. But some are harder to come back from than others. Maybe, Jesse replied, courage lending weight to his words. But what matters is that we try. We owe it to ourselves to rise from the ashes. Sam inhaled deeply, a pause stretching between them. You're right. But don't think it's easy. It takes time. And trust is earned. A wave of understanding passed between them. I'm willing to work for it, Jesse said firmly, and just like that, the shadows that had loomed over him felt lighter, hope blooming anew where doubt had been rooted for too long. Just remember, Sam said, turning to leave, the choice will always be yours. As he walked away, Jesse felt the tension in his heart ease slightly. He looked back at Marcus and his daughter, who were now approaching, their expressions excited and proud. Dad, you were amazing. His daughter exclaimed, her energy lifting him like a gust of wind. I saw you talk to that guy. That was something, Marcus said, pride etched in his voice. You faced a piece of your past back there, and you didn't back down. Jesse smiled, the warmth of their encouragement wrapping around him like a safety net. I think it was the first step. I still have a long journey ahead, but maybe it's one I don't have to walk alone. Marcus nodded, and together they looked out over the playground, where laughter and joy thrived. Just remember. Marcus said, placing a comforting hand on Jesse's shoulder, there will be bumps ahead. But as long as you can keep chasing those little victories, you'll find the way. With renewed spirit, Jesse took a deep breath. The night was dark, but it no longer felt daunting. In that moment of clarity, he felt the threads of change weaving tighter around him. Maybe life wasn't about avoiding the shadows. Maybe it was about stepping forward, hand in hand, into the light that flickered just beyond. They turned together, signaling a fresh start. They would face whatever came their way, and Jesse realized he was ready to chase both hope and happiness at high speed. Let us play, Jesse said, the laughter of children beckoning him back into the light. The shadows behind him faded, replaced with warmth and love. Together, Marcus and his daughter echoed, their voices intertwining like a melody. And as they raced ahead, Jesse felt it, the exhilaration of possibility, the freedom of letting go, and a heart filled with courage that wouldn't falter again. The journey to reclaiming each other, and themselves, was just beginning, but he was ready. Ready to embrace every twist and turn. What lay ahead was unknown, but how could he not be hopeful? He believed in the power of people, the magic of second chances, and most importantly, the strength of love. With every beat of his heart, Jesse knew he would keep moving forward. Because together, they could rise, and that was the greatest victory of all. The world awaited, and Jesse was finally ready to face it. Now it's your turn. Subscribe immediately to the channel so you don't miss the next exclusive stories that will inspire and uplift. Leave a like now to feed the algorithm and show your support for these powerful journeys. Comment below with your thoughts and feelings about this ending. Your reactions matter. Share instantly this video with at least 5 friends who need to see this transformation. You need to subscribe now, and this is the moment to show your support. Don't wait not even one more second to share. Your engagement makes a difference.